Hi, I'm Rafi, and I'm going to be responding to the claim that Apple's iPhone 4S advertisements of the Siri feature are lawful and do not deceive iPhone 4 users. Now, my response to the claim is that the evidence and reasoning used to build credit for the major claim is invalid and does not help to argue a major claim. Three of the opponent's secondary claims that I'm going to be talking about is that the iPhone 4S advertisements included a sequence shortened disclaimer. The second one is that iPhone 4S users have reported high customer satisfaction ratings. And the third one is that Apple's iPhone 4S commercials are lawful, if not more, than the majority of advertisements present today. So the first secondary claim that I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to challenge the evidence on this one. It was said that the Siri commercials had a disclaimer on them, and there was a disclaimer, but when I looked into it more, I found out that the sequence shortened disclaimer was put in after there were initial complaints about it. So that doesn't really help the argument that the commercials are lawful. And for the second claim, which was the iPhone 4S users have reported high customer satisfaction ratings, the evidence that I'm challenging on this one is that the survey used to show how many people were satisfied with the percentages. When I looked on the website, it didn't show how many people were in the survey, and it didn't even say how they found percentages or like how they went about these people. So I don't think that gives the survey any credibility. So it doesn't make the claim very powerful. I'm also going to challenge the reasoning where there's a fallacy presumption, more specifically in the relevant thesis. The whole claim, along with every piece of evidence, has nothing to do with the original claim of lawfulness and the issue of deception in commercials. It does not matter how many people are satisfied with the product itself, because the advertisement is the object in question. They're trying to say how it's lawful because a lot of customers are satisfied with it, and you can't do that. We're not talking about how many people are happy with the product, but we're talking about how lawful the advertisements are. The third secondary claim is that Apple's iPhone 4S commercials are lawful, if not more, than the majority of advertisements present today. And this in and of itself is a generalization. A reasoning challenge, another relevant thesis, is that the secondary claim argued here is that iPhone 4S commercials are more lawful than other advertisements, which has nothing to do with the major claim. It doesn't matter how many bad commercials there are. We're only talking about the iPhone's commercials. They were talking about the Axe commercials, and in the Axe commercials, they had no proof that the Axe commercials themselves were unlawful, and they were using that for comparison. And without any proof that X is unlawful, they can't say that iPhone's commercials are unlawful. The last piece is that they said that Apple is being targeted because the company is wealthy. And this potential counterclaim that they had is nothing but an assumption, because there was no evidence or verdict from the people that said that these people were trying to sue the company because they were wealthy. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. The advocate's claim is labeled, and the secondary claims are signposted as you get to each of them. That's fine. Actually, you had a good preview of what the secondary claims at the beginning of the speech. I thought that worked pretty well. When you get to the first point, you're basically arguing about whether or not the disclaimer is reasonable, and then you say that the disclaimer was actually added after there were initial complaints. I didn't get a source citation on that. I'm not saying that it's not true, but it would be nice if you could prove that particular point, and you had some source that you could provide for us, that then we could believe that maybe Apple was not entirely honest from the upfront, and that they in fact were doing damage control in that particular situation. And the addition of the disclaimer, for example, might be an indication that they recognize that there was a fault in their advertising from the beginning. So I think that's a reasonable inference for you to make on that point. The challenge on the satisfaction thing, you spent some time explaining what's inadequate about the survey, and they're okay questions and presses. I think that you've got the better argument is the one that comes up after that, and that is the relevance issue. How is consumer satisfaction relevant to this particular claim? I think one of the things that needs to be shown, for instance, is that the satisfaction that the consumers have is not with the things that are being advertised, but with something else about the phone. If there were problems with the things that are being advertised, obviously there are with somebody because they've sued in this particular situation. Then that's where the dispute needs to be focused, not on general satisfaction issues, but on the particulars. On the last point, again, the signpost is okay. You say it's a generalization. Well, yeah, okay. There's nothing to explain that's wrong with that generalization, and it's not clear why it's invalid, but you simply seem to say that, well, that's not a demonstration that their actions are legal. But if they meet a standard of a claim that is the same standard that's met by other products, for instance, then it would be discriminatory to treat them at a different level than other products have been. And I think that this point is probably a little bit underdeveloped both by the advocate and by you, and it would need some follow-up. But you've got the right idea here. I think you've got the right argument. It just needs a little bit more development. All right, thank you.